She is a stunning example of what a woman could achieve within the confines of the church. The medieval church had a deeply complicated and often contradictory view of women. On the one hand, woman was personified by Eve, the original temptress who, through her weakness and disobedience, brought sin and death into the world. In this view, women were seen as morally weaker than men, more susceptible to temptation, and a potential source of spiritual danger. But on the other hand, woman was personified by the Virgin Mary. As the mother of Jesus, Mary was seen as the ultimate symbol of purity, obedience, and maternal love. She was the second Eve, whose yes to God undid the damage of the first Eve's no. By the High Middle Ages, a massive cult of devotion to the Virgin Mary had swept across Europe. She was seen as the Queen of Heaven, the most powerful intercessor who could appeal to her Son, Jesus, on behalf of sinners. While Jesus was seen as the righteous judge, Mary was the merciful mother. People believed that she could soften his judgment and offer a gentler path to forgiveness. This dual image of Eve the temptress and Mary the Redeemer framed the spiritual lives of all medieval women. Their roles were often limited, but they found powerful and creative ways to express their faith. For a woman of a noble or wealthy merchant family, one of the main alternatives to marriage was entering a convent to become a nun. The convent was also one of the very few places in medieval society where a woman could pursue an intellectual life. While most lay women were illiterate, nuns were often taught to read and write Latin. They had access to the convent's library and spent time in study and contemplation. For a woman with scholarly or artistic talents, the convent offered a freedom that was impossible to find in the outside world. The head of a large convent, the abbess, could be a very powerful figure. She was often from a high-ranking noble family and functioned like the CEO of a major corporation. She managed large estates and revenues, oversaw the spiritual and physical well-being of all the nuns under her care, and corresponded with bishops, lords, and even kings. The most extraordinary example of such a woman was Hildegard of Bingen, a German abbess from the 12th century.